What's up YouTube, Jay here. Today we're going to be talking about VHS and Dead by Daylight. For those who don't know, yes, right now, VHS also has a huge patch that you can try out right now if you have the game. If you don't have the game, you can go ahead on the Steam page and request beta access. I've been hearing a lot of people get into it more, so be on the lookout because a lot of good stuff. Today we're just only going to be talking about the patch notes for VHS, and then the end of the video, I'm going to give my quick thoughts on what I think about the changes for Dead by Daylight. First off, for VHS, I want to let you know there are known issues right now, and one of them is unable to complete the last step in the tutorial as a player when you get stuck after, killing the monster with the weapon. That's a known issue. They're working on it on a fix. Also, the 5-teen lobbies with 2 monsters, they are aware of that as well. There will be a fix probably later down in the future, maybe before early access. Welcome VHS people that want to watch this. So if you guys don't know, there are a ton of stuff in this patch. This is the biggest patch that we've had in a long time, and it's a good patch because we haven't had anything for quite a while. Again, I'm not a very good explainer, and I'm also not a very good going through patches, but I'm going to try to make it short and sweet because I don't think one of these patch videos should be longer than 10 to 15 minutes in my opinion. Sometimes they could go for an hour, so I'm not going to try to do that because that's just not who I am. They buffed the monster super rift. A lot of people were complaining that the original idea was that if the monster claims a super rift, that it was just pretty dull compared to the teen side, which I agree. So the monster before, what it would just do, it would just give them full range, see the teens through walls, which it was pretty So now what they did is that all active teens will also briefly be staggered and lose 22% of their base life in addition to the existing super rift effects. So yeah, it has a ton of new stuff to add it. It also says that this new effect will not kill a teen and it will not put them into injured state. So basically, it's going to take a chunk of your health, but it won't down you and it won't kill you. So I don't know how it's going to work. What if you only have 22% health? I need to ask the devs about that. Also, the monster reticle assist will no longer be active while a monster is performing an attack. So you ever get those angles where like a crouched teen was just crouching and you ain't like you would swing at them and it won't work. So now hopefully that helps out a little bit with that. They also decrease how long it takes for the movie challenges to feast from 10 seconds to 5 seconds, which is great because nobody likes to feast for that long most times. Also, a nice, great buff is that they increase the maximum distance, which you can see the teen's outline. So what it basically means is that they increase how far you can see the outline of the weapon as a monster, which is great. Those are some nice buff changes without breaking the game. I always say go little, don't go too big on big changes because we need to test them out. But overall, good changes for the monster players. Werewolf. A lot of people have been talking about how she's not valuable in the high MMR. So yeah, if you didn't know, Werewolf's a she. But a lot of talk has been going on about Werewolf, how they're just not valuable. They're not valuable in high MMR versus like other great teens, and I agree. So look at these changes that we have so far on Werewolf. The one that caught my attention the most is that increase the movement speed of the Werewolf while focusing the How and Berserk. So if you don't know what that means, before, whenever you channeled the How or the Berserk, you were slowed down tremendously. Now, 50% faster. So that means this is great for mind gaming because while you're channeling it, you're not losing that momentum. You're still moving pretty fast. They also did buff one of the mutations called Vicious that nobody ever ran. So the way Vicious would work is that if you down a teen, you would have, a little bit extra time to have more Berserk, but now they buffed it. Another huge buff is that they did a vault speed for Werewolf. So now when you're Berserk, you also get an additional vault speed. Berserk is a huge thing a lot of Werewolf players do not use. They only use it to get around the map, but Berserk is so good for getting in and out in situations that a lot of people need to understand how to use it. So this is a great addition to the kit. They increased the duration of the Werewolf Berserk power to 12 from 11. The thing about these changes, there's always going to be a buff to a nerf. That's this whole patch notes that I'm going to be reading to you that I feel like they did a great job to give it a 50-50. Don't worry, there's going to be changes for teens and monsters that you're going to be like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I think what I love about these patch notes from the developers at Hellbent, they just love, shifting up the meta. Even if the game is not officially out, they want to see what works and what doesn't work. The loudness of whenever you channel the Berserk is now decreased, so you can hear teens around you approaching you. Also, the loudness of the breathing of the werewolf Yeah, so those are the werewolf changes that I just really did enjoy. Like, I was just like, oh, I'm blown away, so I can't wait to get back in and try the werewolf, because she is deadly now. Wart did get a slight nerf on one of the mutations called Throttle. So the Wart Leap now mutation now increases the movement speed while leaping by 24%, down from 30. Ouch, that's a huge nerf. But let's see how it plays out. Usually, whenever something gets nerfed, we try it out, and it ain't so bad. But let's be honest, nobody ever ran anything else on Wart for the leap, and the only one that people ran was, you know, Throttle, so it makes sense. Oh boy, Doll Master, boy. Doll Master was becoming a fan favorite on Twitter, Discord, streams, because a lot of content creators were voicing their opinions about how Doll Master is just very unfun to play, and I agree. And since day one, I've always said, man, Doll Master, I don't know about him. Like, he's fun to play, but like not really fun to go up against. But now the devs have been hearing the feedback. Pause and read if I ever feel like I missed something. Again, I'm not going to go through everything because I'm trying to make this video short and sweet, but I'm going to talk about the ones that I did like for the changes for Doll Master. One of them is the last one. It says the hitbox of the dolls have been made 50% wider, so now they are easier to hit with some of the weapons, which is great because a lot of the weapons that you get right in the beginning, like the sword, the ray gun, the flamethrower, they are really hard to hit with the little dolls. But now with this little buff that their hitbox is a little bit bigger for the teens, it's a great addition to the changes to the Doll Master. Another great change, the Doll Master can no longer use the remove trap power on a doll when it is detecting presence of the teen. Basically, the Doll Master cannot call back a doll if it's yellow or orange, which is a great thing because a lot of cheese was going with ever the Doll Master would just call him, you know, he would just go back to his body and then you take it back, and it was becoming a little bit cheesiness. Another change was from a mutation called Rebound. So Rebound was a mutation that the doll can instantly jump once he takes control of it. So now they have to wait for 2 seconds to do it again. These are great changes. Again, I didn't want them to butcher Doll Master, but these slight changes will make up in the long run. Really good one is they slightly increase the distance at what teens can hear a warning sound prior to the doll being possessed. So you know that sound he makes when when he's possessing a doll, it's like they make that louder so you can hear it, because sometimes it was kind of faint. And lastly, the best one is when a teen pings a doll trap, its aura will now reveal to other active teens in the duration of the ping. So this is great. You ping a doll, it can see through walls, and now the teens around you can now notice it. I think these are great changes for the Doll Master. Again, I didn't want them to butcher it because, again, that's just not how you fix things. You fix things by going little by little by little. So this is a great direction. So those were the monster changes. The teen changes were really nice, and thank you again for the devs for doing this. So the first one they did is that when teens do a normal or a quiet vault that is 4 meters or less, they will no longer make a sound. So if you are in courtyard from let's say high school, the windows by lunchroom, so when you do a slow little vault, like, you know, the ones when you hold crouch and then you vault, you no longer make it like a stumble sound, and I was not a fan of that. So this won't work like on a map like Hotel when you're on the second floor, obviously because it's not 4 meters, but these are just nice stealth changes for us rap players. You know what I mean? Another great change is for new beginners is while a teen is controlling a spectral, it increases the range at which they can hear the Luma. So like the Luma is the little white or like little white tape thing, whatever bulb, whatever. It looks like a little ball, like a white ball. But yeah, they basically made it so where you can hear it 2.5 meters. Again, these are nice changes, nothing too crazy. They're just going to help out newer players, and I think these are nice changes to the teen. RC Flyer got nerfed basically from 85 to 65. Shock Sphere got changed as well. Pause and read. Again, we're going to go this fast. Another great change is that Holy Staff got a slight buff with a nerf. So they made it that increasing the healing speed for yourself is 50% faster. So the Solar Flare, the ramp of the energy drain while the monster is inside of the Solar Flare sentry, has been increased by 25% and returns to the slowest rate when the monster is out of sight, 40% slower. So ouch, Solar Flare got nerfed, which is great because a lot of, you know, newer players didn't really know how to play against it. So if you don't know how you play against it, you basically stare at it or just be in the radius of the solar flare, and it drains it fast. Now it even drains faster, so those players that just like to spam the solar flare, they're gonna have an issue if they don't call back their solar flare, which is a great change. lastly, a very cool change that I was like, oh my god, that's actually pretty cool. So there's a mod call on the wrist. So what that does, whenever you throw the Molotov to a wall or anything, it would just bounce. But now it makes a sound, so it gives the monster a chance to hear it and run for it or something like that. So it's a great, nice change, you know, both sides. It's pretty cool. You can hear the sound of the Molotov bouncing around. General gameplay, they buff stickers from 10 to 20. So yeah, it's pretty funny. And they also buff the how long they stayed from a minute to 120 seconds. Now that's great. Another thing they did is they reduced the sound of the Hellbait game. So whenever you open it, it would just like in your ear. So now it's gone. Another great change they did add, and I've been requesting this for a long time, is that now you can have separate mouse and controller sensitivity for both playing Monster and Teen, which is great because on Monster I have a slower sensitivity, and Teen I have a higher one because I like to go for trick shots most times. And I think this is a nice change because, like, you know, it gives more diversity for players, and anytime they add more like stuff like this, it makes me happy because it just means like the little things matter. And thank you, devs. And again, if I miss anything, you can go ahead and check out the description box for the full image of it. And they also did a ton of bug fixes, as you can tell right now. But overall, I think this is a great change for the game. We will be talking about the other thing that came out with VHS later on down this week. Probably on a Sunday or Monday, I'll talk about it. I think I already did enough videos for this week. But again, if you're here for VHS, come by my stream. The link to my Twitch channel is in the description. If you did appreciate the VHS stuff, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. But my question for you guys for VHS, was there any changes that you didn't like or what you did like? I think overall, these are nice changes. It means the devs are listening. And I feel like, and I know I say this copium, but I feel like EA is around the corner because now we can actually get on the ball with VHS and try out more changes. And I really do feel like the game is around the corner. So what's up, DVD people? You missed a great patch notes for VHS. They really are changing up the game, just like behavior is. You know what? I have to give credit when credit's due. I think all these changes that they did for, what they're going to do for Dead by Daylight are nice. This is a pretty hefty change of a lot of things. One thing they did is now the teachables ready is a no more thing. So they basically have it where whenever you prestige for the first time, the tier 1s go to all the other, you know, survivors, and tier 2, you know, etc, etc. Now, a lot of people are gonna hate me for saying this, but it kind of seems like they took that kind of from VHS, because VHS did that too with Act 1. You can complete Act 1 and then go to Act 2 and get the level 2 perks. Hey, I'm not here to say that's not a bad thing, because there's a ton of things that VHS got inspired by DBD and other asymmetricals. So if anything, yeah, VHS is really pushing Dead by Daylight for better, not for worse, but for better. And this is what I've been talking about, how competition does so good for these asymmetrical games, because everybody's trying to one-up each other and they always bring their best. And as you can tell from this developer update and the VHS update that they just had, these companies are pushing the limit, and which is great. And one of the things they did add that we've all been asking for was the matchmaking incentive. So basically whatever side needs more, they're gonna be getting more like blood points, which is great and all. But because of this, now a lot of perks got nerfed that, you know, like barbecue and chili, which we'll talk about in a second, they also got nerfed. So like, yeah, we got a thing that can help out, you know, queue times, but they also nerfed the perks that help with that. But yeah, they also mentioned that they're nerfing generator perks, but they're also buffing the how long it takes to do a gen. So they added 10 more seconds. You know, before it was 80 seconds to do a gen. Now it's 90 seconds, which is going to be interesting because who likes to sit on gens? Nobody does. But I get the reason for it, because gens do fly. But the funny thing about it is that I could have sworn some of the devs in the past have said this: we don't want to make gens any longer than 80 seconds. It just shows that sometimes they bite their own lip and they had to go back to what they said. But hey, it's a great change. Also, kicking a generator now removes 2.5. So now actually kicking a generator is value in this game. Like, these are nice changes that I think are pretty cool for the game. Again, I'm not gonna go through everything because there's videos already for that. I'm gonna give you the things that I like. Again, they are working on camping, tunneling. But yes, the last thing I want to mention is that they talked about changing up the meta perks. I've been waiting for this for like 4 years for them to do it, and they're finally doing it. All right, I don't know where to begin. Again, I'm gonna go through these fast. Barbecue and chili, whatever. Now it's just a perk that you can see with aura. I don't care for it. Hex Ruin, never really liked the perk, so yeah, get rid of it. Pop Goes a Weasel, I still think it's going to be valuable. I think it's going to be a great perk. Corrupt Intervention seems like a fair trade. You know, it slows it down until you find somebody and then it goes away. Fair. And that's pretty much it for the killers. But the Survivor perks, oh boy, Dead Heart, finally gone. I know a lot of people are saying it's still going to be valuable, which, hey, if it is, as long as it's not like the old one. But yeah, Dead Heart, finally gone. And yes, I've used it in the past, and I always said every time I use it, I feel dirty because I don't feel like I should be getting away with this much time with one perk. So finally, Dead Heart's gone. Thank the Lord. Decisive Strike, still going to be valuable in my opinion in late game or whatever. Borrow Time is going to be default now, which is great. That's going to help out with the camping and tunneling. Iron Will is finally getting nerfed. I've been asking this again. This is my first favorite perk. When I first played DBD, right? That was my first favorite perk. I leveled up Jake first, and that was the perk that was like, yo, this is the best perk in the game. And everybody's like, oh, you're stupid. That's a new perk. And now look at that. It's finally getting nerfed, which is great because I just think that, you know, with the game, how it is and it's how bad the sounds are, I think it's a great addition. A lot of people might not like it, but hey, who, you know, go kick rocks. I don't know what to tell you. Self-care. Why did self-care get nerfed? I don't know why, but that was a change. Spine Shield. As much as I crutch this perk, it deserved the nerf. So I'm okay with the nerf, but it's a huge crutch perk. And they also mentioned that they're changing a lot of the non-meta perks. The one that intrigued me the most was probably Off the Record. Yeah. Whew. Dude, that one's gonna be pretty meta. I also did like the pharmacy change that, you know, the green med kit all the time. That's pretty good. They changed a lot of good, you know, a lot of them were fun perks. But yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I like the changes. Am I gonna play the PTB? Probably not, unless something's going on right now where VHS is going down. I know what some of you guys are saying. Like VHS is not having huge numbers right now. It's a closed beta for a reason, meaning that people get to try it and then they leave. Nobody wants to play a game that you can't progress your progression, which makes sense. And people keep on sleeping on the part where like it's a free to play game on Steam and Epic. So when it comes out, you're gonna sit there and tell me it's not gonna have people? It's gonna have people because it's a free to play game. And right now it's in its rough patch because again, people want to grind. But that's the beauty about these games. You can play whatever you want. And right now, I'm going to wait until the changes for Dead by Daylight to come out. And then I'll give the game a try again. But right now, not so much. I didn't really care for the anniversary. It is what it is. But I love the changes. I love them. But again, I'm a little bit scared by behavior because they have done changes and they always, most times, turn out okay. But there's like a good chunk where something is broken, something is bad, and again, you know, I'm not gonna put all my money in a basket saying that this next big update is gonna, you know, save or I don't know, revolution like Dead by Daylight to a whole new level. I'm gonna wait and see. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about the Dead by Daylight and the VHS stuff. Again, if you're curious and you don't care about VHS, just watch some of the stuff I talk about in VHS because it has a lot of stuff to offer now. They added like a lot of changes to the game, and they were great changes. But my question for Dead by Daylight people, what was one change that you hated, and what was one change that you loved? Let me know by leaving a comment down below. Hopefully I make this video fast because I know some of these patch things can take a long time, but hopefully I did it in a good amount of time. If you did appreciate this video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up. My name is Jay, and I'll see you on the Twitch stream. Link to that is in the description. Come by. Anyways, take it easy.